You are back with us at Silverstone, where Michael Schumacher has won the British Grand Prix, but there still could be a protest from the McLaren team. Here's the result as it stands at the moment. Schumacher, that's 3 wins on the bounce for the double world champion. Mika Hakkinen second in the McLaren. Eddie Irvine on the podium again. The 2 Benettons scoring, and Ralf Schumacher getting the first point of the season for the Jordan team, who are based just around the corner from Silverstone. And the Drivers' Championship is now squeezing right up. There's 2 points in it now. Mika Hakkinen leads from Michael Schumacher, who's accumulated 30 points in the last 3 races. David Coulthard, a grim old day for him. He's stuck on 30 still. Eddie Irvine just a point away from Coulthard, and Wirtz and Fisichella scoring again today. And the constructors, Ferrari continue to put the heat on McLaren. 3 points the difference now, and the champions Williams still trailing Benetton, 19 compared to 32. Okay, let's have a word with Tony Jardine. We don't get too many like that, do we?
I'll tell you what, it was something like about 24, 25 overtaking manoeuvres. It was breathtaking, it was exciting. I'd just like all the people who criticise us all at the beginning of the season to say it right down there, because that is brilliant. Formula One, it just turns around like that. I know the conditions were a great leveller today, but it's 19 years since Ferrari have won the World Championship. 1979 since Jody Scheckter. They're now smelling it now. Ferrari were very, very strong. How Schumacher came back at the end of all that, I don't know. It's sheer brilliance, because the good years weren't as good as the Bridgestones today.
Let's go back to the start of the race. What a couple of hours to go.
Yeah.
A couple of hours ago, I should say. On you go, Tony.
Yeah, great start. The thing about this was the way Hakkinen pulled away. That must have been depressing for the Ferrari drivers there. So depressing that Irvine fell back. He actually dropped back to about 10th place. A lazy shot through as well. But Coulthard got up into 3rd place. Look, there he is. And Coulthard attacked from the very beginning. So it was a great start from the Scot there. Hakkinen in the lead, Schumacher in 2nd place, and there was Coulthard through into the 3rd place there. On that damp track, a lot of them had gone on to the intermediates, so it was great that they got that sort of grip, but a heck of a start from Hakkinen. It was sensational throughout the race, this was it, and he was on the intermediate tyres, and he got through, you see that big puddle that he splashed through there, on the inside, taking him on, then round the outside and getting ahead of Michael Schumacher. You don't do that often, but the aerial view just shows how many puddles that he went through and how damp it was. He had to go up on the curb there. It was probably flashes of Argentina going through his mind there. What was the German going to do to him? Could it be a bit forceful? But no, he got away with it. Great drive for David. Sure,
despite the fact that he scored many more points over the last couple of seasons, David Coulthard just can't match Damon Hill for popularity in Britain, certainly here at Silverstone. But once again, a bad day at work for Damon, Tony.
It was a very bad day. Here we are. We think it was just a touch too much of the throttle, just a little bit too early. This was as early as lap 14. He was running in 8th place at the time. That was a great shame. But he had said to me before the race he wasn't happy with the wet weather tyre choice from Goodyear's. That had been dictated by Michael Schumacher, and he'll be on the golf course with us tomorrow.
Let's hope his golf goes a bit better tomorrow. What's that all about?
That's a British Brain and Spine Foundation for Sid Watkins, Professor Watkins, who's the Grand Prix doctor, raising money for his charity.
Excellent. Well, David Coulthard, as we said, he wanted to give it a real charge. He did give it a charge, but I mean, he hit the old skid pan and off he went.
But just look at these conditions, and poor old DC, he was the one that talked to us about, you know, what it's like going on the 3rd lane of the motorway. Turn off your windscreen wipers for a couple of minutes and just see how dangerous it is. There it is. But he was taking the risks. He had no alternative. That was Steve Hallam there, the senior operations engineer at McLaren, telling Mika Hakkinen that his teammate was already out. Whether he was giving him good news or just saying maybe cool it a bit, your teammate spun off and out, it's getting dangerous out there.
There's still a lot of points to be won, but I get the impression that perhaps David Coulthard's world title hopes sunk away in that gravel trap.
I tend to fear that as well. I think they've slipped away because the circuits that we've got coming up, we're going to the A1 ring in Austria, where it's a little bit tighter. Then we're going to Hockenheim, which is very, very fast indeed, and the Mercedes engine will really use all its power. So it's going to be a little bit of ping-pong, a bit of tennis going on. It's going to be a seesaw for the second half of the season. Just look at that. Incredible going into bridge, and they're going to bridge at something like, 150, 160 miles an hour. So Mika Hakkinen must have had a big fright, and that really must have unseated him a little bit, unnerved him a little bit, and then he started tiptoeing after that. And look at him bounce over the gravel traps. Look at him bounce over the gravel. I'm surprised more bits didn't come off that McLaren. It just shows how strong it is and well built by McLaren. Congratulations to the Woking guys. He was able to get out of it. Got out of jail, didn't he?
Yeah, and then we had the safety car, Oliver Gavin, going round and keeping his motor on the road just about. And perhaps he was unnerved there because we always felt that Schumacher was going to pounce, and sure enough, he took full advantage of a Hakkinen mistake.
You could talk a great book, and no matter what you say, because look, there's Villeneuve. He showed how bad the conditions were. Off he went. He had a terrible race. He is lousy in the wet. He's really got to get his act together. He's from IndyCar racing, where they don't do much stuff in the wet. You remember at Monte Carlo 2 years ago when he banged into the barriers in the wet? He couldn't get that together, and he finished way outside in something like 8th position. So a bad race for Williams after their great progress in the dry.
Yeah, I'm hearing now that, well, as you might expect, McLaren are considering an appeal at the events today. I mean, with Ferrari making up ground, Schumacher winning, well, winning at the moment anyway. The appeal could go on, and I'm sure that'll run and run here. Nice day now, and Michael Schumacher has won the British Grand Prix, but McLaren have appealed against Michael Schumacher's victory. The decisive moment, it'd be nice to see, wouldn't it now, Tony, when Mika Hakkinen, under pressure, slid off and the Rainmaster went through.
Yes, the safety car had been out there for about 6 laps, and then they were all unleashed. Off they went. Now, he was thinking about it, Hakkinen was thinking about it all the way around, knowing that Schumacher's there, and there he is. Now, that was the acid test, because I've also been saying, like Martin's been saying, let's wait and see what Hakkinen does when he's really under pressure, because he's not been under pressure really this season at all. Big cracks appeared there. He lost it. He went wide, very fast part of the track, coming out Abbott's up there, and he'd gone off, and through went the Rainmeister.
He didn't actually slide off there, did he, Hakkinen? He just seemed to take the wrong and thought, well, I'll carve across the grass and see if I can still stay in front.
Well, what happens when you slide like that, then you steer into it and rather go on the grass, because as Sterling said, if you go on the green stuff, then that's it. You actually accelerate on the grass. Okay. So he did the right thing and he kept it together. So he got out of jail twice, really. Hakkinen should have been on. Can
he stand the pressure is the big question, isn't it, Tony? Right, I know lots of you like to hear what the drivers have to say in the press conference. Let's pop down there now. And speaking first of all, it's the winner, Michael Schumacher.
Michael, congratulations on your first British Grand Prix victory. What a complicated race it turned out to be for you today.
I mean, it was easy up to the pace car, I would say. I wasn't fast enough. Couldn't hold the pace of the 2 guys in front of me. The circumstances were very variating, and at certain moments I was faster, but most of the moments those guys were faster. But there was always a kind of 10-second gap. Just at the end it was building up, and I don't know what happened, why it was suddenly up to the safety car situation so big. Obviously I slowed down because there was no point pushing. It was very dangerous, and I was quite happy that the pace car came out actually. I guess Mika isn't, but the point then was I was behind the safety car for I don't know how many laps, and then everybody knew what happened. What I still don't know was the reason for my penalty. Why did it have to come in? I mean, I thought it was maybe the situation with Giancarlo, but I didn't think I passed him on the line. I don't know what else was wrong.
We're not entirely sure either, but of course a lot of activity around Silverstone. As soon as we know anything, you will as well. But, well, I mean, he's a marvellous performance from Schumacher. Whether he keeps the race or loses it, you can't take that away from him.
No, you can't. But this was his 7th attempt at trying to win the British Grand Prix. Even in '92, he finished 1 place behind Martin Brundle. So our Marty's beat him here as well. It's been a jinx circuit for him. He's now equalled Nigel Mansell's record of 31 Grand Prix wins, which is sensational. And even more so there for Eddie Irvine. That's his 6th podium of the season. And I know he's going to have a little party in Oxford tonight with all the latest video games.
I'm sure that'll go well. All right then, but Mika Hakkinen still leads the championship. Let's hear what he's had to say.
Michael. Well, Mika, you seem to be in a very strong position for most of the race there, so it's a little disappointing for you, I should think.
Yeah, extremely disappointing, of course, and it was like we realized everything looked extremely good until the heavy rain came, and it was getting really, I mean, incredible nearly to drive, and that sink was just exactly that 1 or 2 laps later when I went off. I broke my front wing, and obviously I lost all the downforce on the front, and every time when I went to high-speed corner, car wanted to go straight and didn't want to turn really, so it was like 6-7 seconds slower all the time, what it should be. So I lost the whole situation there actually.
Well, one thing is absolutely certain from Silverstone: the championship, the Drivers' Championship, and indeed the Constructors' Championship has closed right up. Lots of fairly wet and miserable people are trying to get away from Silverstone now. Around about 100,000 people here. It takes a very long time to clear the circuit. Lots of them carrying those Damon Hill banners. Hill still certainly the most popular British driver, but another tough day for him.
Damon, last year you were celebrating 1 point at Silverstone. This year it's Ralph. How do you feel for him?
Well, I'm very pleased. I mean, I obviously am disappointed that I didn't really get the point or stay up there myself. I just managed to spin it away. But, you know, after I was out, I thought, well, you know, I want to see how we get on. And Ralph was, you know, doing very well coming from the back of the grid. And he got a point. So there's a lot to celebrate now. Hopefully this is the change of the luck the bad luck we've been having.
Well, he always puts a brave face on things, doesn't he, Tony? A point for Jordan, nothing